What's up, everyone? It's Brian here from the Exact IT Solutions YouTube channel. Welcome to another video where we're going to talk about things that will help you with cybersecurity and hopefully never ever get cyber attacked. Today's video, I'm going to talk about businesses and their offboarding process, specifically their employee offboarding process. It's becoming a real problem out there for companies that fail to offboard their employees properly and fail to implement a process around this that people can follow within your company when you let somebody go. It's critically important that you do things like this. It's critically important not only from a human resources standpoint to keep your business out of hot water with the labor department of your state, but it's also important from a cybersecurity standpoint. And I'm going to show you an example why in the video. But before we get into that, remember, if you are enlightened, if you're educated, if you are entertained in any way, if we've shown you something you didn't know before, help us out and help other YouTubers find our content so they can be enlightened like you were by hitting the like button. Smash it down. That little move helps other people on YouTube find our content. If you're so inclined, subscribe to our channel as well. We'd really appreciate it. You'll get notified when we put out new videos, and you'll also help us out with other people finding us on YouTube as well. So today I want to jump into the employee offboarding process, why it's important, and how you can start doing things to better offboard your employees so you don't get caught like this company in Connecticut did with one of their employees. So I'm going to jump into the content around that right now. Let's check it out. All right, so we had this story in the Daily Voice from New Haven, Connecticut. And it's an ex-employee arrested for a ransomware scheme at a Connecticut business. And what we have here is we have a person who I believe lives in the Philadelphia area now. He's a 33-year-old out-of-state man, because he lives in Pennsylvania, has been arrested on a warrant for allegedly hacking into a former Fairfield County employer's computer system, causing the business to become the victim of a ransomware attack. He was arrested on Tuesday, February 9th for an incident which took place around September in Westport. Now, it's believed that it's some kind of metal manufacturing company up in Connecticut. I believe it may have been Stamford or somewhere around there, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought I saw that somewhere. But basically what happened was the company, he's a former employee, and he hacked into their computers and made some modifications to their website. And then the next day, the company then got hit with ransomware. And they were unable to access their work files without paying the ransom, which is no secret if you've watched other videos on my channel. There was an extensive investigation done, and they developed this individual as a suspect, and it was confirmed that he was a former employee of the company. He was interviewed. He denied the allegations, and then the investigation ended up with him having a warrant put out for his arrest. And then he was charged with a computer crime, and then he was released after posting a $75,000 bond. So, this is a common thing that we see in businesses. I would say that most of them, we're probably looking at under 100 employees. This is more common. As you get more than 100 employees, we don't see it as nearly as much, but it still does happen with bigger companies where they may have an onboard. Most of them don't even have an onboarding process. At least the ones that we've evaluated over the years, we help them implement things like that. But employee offboarding process, a lot of times you'll neglect the IT side of it. You'll do all the paperwork, you'll do all the things that you need to do from a regulation standpoint with the labor department. Your HR team will follow a process. And some companies, that's not the case. Somebody fires them, the owner, CEO fires an employee, and they walk out the door, and there's really no formal process for offboarding that employee. One of the big things that we know that happens early on with clients that we take on early on is they don't have this process in place yet, and then they let somebody go, and then we don't find out about it. And that's common in IT departments all across business, that IT doesn't find out, or they're one of the last ones to find out, or they figure it out on their own that a particular employee is no longer with the company. And these are the things that can happen when you don't take something like this seriously. They clearly didn't cut off access to his accounts as he left the firm. And because of that, he was able to access things like the website and change the website and then deploy ransomware. And if you want to get hit with ransomware, this is probably the easiest way to do it, to allow an ex-employee to continue to have access to your network. So the way that you defend against this or combat this is you have a process. You have a set of instructions that somebody needs to follow in order to make sure that the technology that this person had access to gets cut off. And what we recommend is you put it in a document with HR and make whoever's responsible for the HR in your company responsible for cutting the access off, or making sure that they're contacting the right people within your IT department or company to make sure the access is turned off. Now, quite frankly, you should have a similar process built in when you onboard your employees. And we recommend kind of the same thing. As HR is going through the paperwork, they are the ones that trigger the request to set up the hardware, to set up laptops, computers, get access to email, set up email accounts. All of that can be triggered from like an HR person during the onboarding process. That's an easy way to do it. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that's an easy way to do it. And then, making sure, more importantly than onboarding, because that kind of goes without saying. You're going to onboard an employee, you're going to give them the technology they need to do their job. But when they walk out the door, you need to make sure that somebody is contacting IT immediately, or even better, while you're kind of talking to the person or firing the person. That's when things start to get cut off by IT, because it only takes a second for somebody to go in and get access. And then the other thing that you need to consider here is employees that leave who may have been managers, or who you may have a company where you share credentials for logins and things like that. You want to make sure that you're changing the passwords on those types of things too, because you may have like a shared account that's not tied to the particular employee that other people in a department are using, and then they still would have access to that. So you need to evaluate the access that every role has in your company to what systems, and then you need to build that into your offboarding process to ensure that when you let go an employee, they don't have access to your systems and do things like we saw with this Connecticut business that got hit with ransomware simply because they didn't disable the account of an employee that they let go of their company. So I hope you found this interesting, folks. I hope you take this video and you do implement some offboarding processes in your company. If this is something you need help with, you can always reach out to our business here at Exact IT Solutions. We help companies with technology and the compliance and things that go around with that, along with cybersecurity. Just head over to our website at xitx.com. You can click the Contact Us button at the top or right on the home page, request a free 15-minute strategy session with one of the experts on our team. Do that today and we'll help you get these things in place. You don't have to use us. There's thousands of other IT pros out there that will help you with doing things like this. You can even implement it yourself. Just do some basic research on how to do an employee offboarding plan. Make sure it includes IT, and then you're set. So that's all for today, folks. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Take care.